Look, you guys all know my feelings about Thomas Jefferson. I talk about him often. He is my favorite founder. If you have not seen it, a couple of years ago, we did a President's Week series of episodes where I did a full hour on Thomas Jefferson. He lived an extraordinary life. He was writing the documents that were freeing the slaves in the midst of writing the documents that were freeing us from Britain. I mean, he did so many things, and he was an inventor and an extraordinary person. I've been to his home down in Monticello in Virginia a couple times. I highly recommend you go there, and they give a fantastic tour there. Well, surprise, surprise, the woke cultists now want him taken down wherever he might be, and they are succeeding in places such as the New York City Council. We've got some info from the New York Post here. Thomas Jefferson is no longer in the room where it happens. Art handlers packed up an 884-pound statue of Jefferson in a wooden crate Monday after a mayoral commission voted to banish the likeness of the nation's third president from New York City Hall, where it resided for nearly 2 centuries because he owned slaves. The 1833 statue will be on long-term loan to the New York Historical Society, which plans to have Jefferson's model survive in its lobby and reading room. Terry Butler, the executive director of the Public Design Commission that voted to banish the statue, at first tried to block the press from witnessing its removal. Butler relented after members of the mayor's office and city council intervened, and we've actually got some video of the statue being removed after 187 years.
That should be enough right there.
All right, so almost 200 years that thing was there, 187 to be specific. Do you feel the tolerance? Do you feel we're becoming less racist? Do you feel we're becoming more diverse and more open and more thoughtful as a society as we burn down our history? Do you sense that? Or could this be about something else? Could this be about destroying all of the good past of the United States so that they can usher in their woke, crypto, fascist, Marxist lunacy? Do you think maybe that's closer to what it's about? I've often talked about the conflicting history of Thomas Jefferson, who was just a man of his time, much like we are all just men of our time, right? Like, I love eating a steak. Is it likely or possible that in 30 years from now, they will look back on us with our Instagrams of those beautiful, juicy tomahawks that I smoke and go, my God, he was evil. And then they're going to have to take down the giant bust of me, wherever it might be. Where do you think they would put a bust of me? Somewhere back in the back of my office. Will they take down my office? Yes. We are all men of our time. We're all imperfect. We, in most cases, try to do the best we can, and we often fail at that. Thomas Jefferson, as I said, he was writing the laws to free the slaves. He was conflicted about slavery. He felt that you couldn't just rip the Band-Aid off. He wasn't a pure abolitionist in that way, but he was trying to make it happen. We know he had relations with at least one of his slaves. Like, these are all very complex things. You can also go to George Washington's home in D.C., and they talk about, during the tour, they talk about how when Washington died, that he freed his half of his slaves in his will, but Martha kept hers. Does that mean we should take down every Washington statue? I mean, I don't want to give these people any ideas, but the idea that these people were somehow racist and backwards, and now, 200 plus years later, we're just so great, and we're just closing the loophole on all their evil crap so that we can be good and tolerant and diverse going forward. It's a bill of goods that they're selling you that is faulty. It is broken, and there will be no warranty on it. Once we say goodbye to our history, there will be no getting it back. They will usher in something that will be far, far worse. If you thought that George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were bad guys, wait till you are under the rule of Ilhan Omar and AOC and all of their friends, and you will find out the true meaning of racism and intolerance, because it wasn't those guys. It really wasn't.